Today we'll be looking at Susanoo versus Yasuie, which is piloted by me, and we'll be seeing how the game goes. And I'll be going first in this game. I do like the Yasuie searcher here, which I've explained in my previous video, is not exactly the best strike target to have, but then you can't complain the free grade 3 search you could have gotten through the top 7. Now, I say that because this grade 1 especially is actually good in the grade 3 withstand turn, rather than you plussing off the grade 3 search. So now we do see the powerful grade 1 right from the Susanoo player here, which is the grade 3 searcher actually, because if you hit the Susanoo here like what he did, you will give your Vanguard a free 10k and a critical trigger. Who doesn't like pushing damage in just turn 1? And so from the Yasuie perspective, which is me, I will look at my hand and see if I do have shields to guard with. And ironically, I do want to see shields in my opening hand against OTT because of how strong they can be. So he just called the grade 1 here to look at top 2. And we just now do see a glimpse that he actually saw a critical trigger over there, which he could have placed it on top and you would have punished me further. But he actually decided to put the non-trigger unit on top, which nullified the pressure off me. Yep, so he does put the grade 2 there. And then this allows me to guard for one pass, since I know he will never be able to hit over the trigger. So Vanguard is just swinging for 23k here. I think I do a no guard here. And I guard for no pass. So I think he finally realizes his mistake. He should have placed a critical on top, forcing more shields out of me. Or he could have dealt 3 damage in that one Vanguard swing. I will be at 4 damage and this would be most likely game ending. But I do right to the Amazu here and I do get a draw trigger. Very fortunate for me. And he does right to the grade 2 double, which he finds it through the drive check from the previous turn. So he uses the grade 1 again, which is to tap and reveal the top card of your deck. If it's a normal unit, you can give 10k to the front row. So he does use a skill to get back the grade 3 searcher back to hand. So as you can see, what Susanoo 8 grade 3 decklist usually does is very aggressive in the first few turns, and not just waiting for the grade 3 turn, which the other lists such as which focuses more on Deer Turbo, they are usually quite slow and they will want to wait until grade 3 to even call down their cards. But instead, as demonstrated by this ODD player here, we do see a very aggressive turn 2. And if I was at 4 damage in the previous turn, I would have not been able to guard at all, and at a critical trigger would have secured the game. So as you can see, I'm frantically guarding everything I can. Try check not into a critical trigger, so I'm at 2 damage. So this is a very safe zone for me. And I do right to the Yasuie VR here, gaining an Excel marker and then drawing 1 card. And I do have the Awazu in hand, so most likely I'm going to mill the one night card here, which is the most strongest grade 3 turn play for Yasuie. And do let me know if you guys are interested in a Yasuie deck profile, because I'm keen in making it if there are enough response to it. So actually I do mill the grade 1 Whispering Flower there. Instead, I believe I do have the one night in hand, thus why I mill it to the drop zone. I mill the grade 1 to drop zone. As mentioned earlier in the video, I do mention that the grade 1 is actually a very strong combo extender for Yasuie itself. Yasuie withstand itself is not exactly very strong, but with the grade 1, it does explode further. So most likely I'm going to choose the grade 1 and the one night there. I'll actually call the Tenma here. Maybe most likely going to aim for the retire on his field, since he actually does commit 3 units early game and they are all 3 grade 1s. So I do target the grade 1 and the Tenma there. Oh, so sorry. Actually I forgot how this game turned out. My apologies there. So I do commit to the one night here. I mean, one night is draw power, and against OTT, you do want to have a decent hand size. And I do guard pretty early in this game, so I need to replenish those hand size. But personally, I felt that maybe the better play would have caught Tenma there, so that I can snipe down all these grade 1 regards to the bottom deck, since he actually commit them too early. Twin Drive into double blank here, which is very common. I do mill 2 cards. And I draw 1. Calling the Great One once again from the drop zone. So as you can see, the Excel circle that is formed by the Tenma there does increase the amount of attacks. And superior call by the Great One is basically what I'm saying. So as you can see, I'm trying to clear the side. He does it to a confident damage trigger there. I swing the Vanguard, which is 24k. A critical trigger will be deadly here, but nope, just 1 damage. Doesn't eat to another damage trigger, swings at the side, swing the Tenma last, and then killing off the last trigger. So as you can see, his clipboard is perfectly cleared. And I do have a potential to draw 3 this turn. But I'm most likely going to draw 2 only, because I want to keep the 1 knight for the next turn. Which is very important. You do not want to waste all your resources drawing 1. Basically drawing all your resources in this turn. If you do have the follow-up turn, you can actually get to have the 1 knight to spawn more. So actually I do decide to draw more, maybe probably because it's against Oracle Think Tank and games do end very early and every card would be very crucial. But if I remember correctly, the last card I drew was actually a draw trigger, so I wasn't very fond of drawing the last card. So it was a misplay there by me. I should have committed, or rather I should have saved one of the 1 knight for the next turn. So as you can see, he rides to the Susano here, getting the Protect 1, and do review, and do using the skill and twin driving to a critical trigger there. But we shall see how he's going to pump the power. It's a very tough, awkward, I would say awkward for him, because I'm actually only at 2 damage. If I'm at a standard 3 or 4, the critical could have been pumped better. So actually he pumps the crit to the middle. So now the interesting mechanic here is that this grid 3. So I think many of you are wondering if I could have drawn all 3 cards from the 1 knight there. So let me explain to you. Basically, when you have at least 2 1 knight on the field, the ability do go through, and they activate at the same time during the end of turn. And during the end of turn, the only way to draw 1 card, or rather the only requirement you need, is actually just have 5 units on the field. I know it does sound weird, but I actually have tried it on Nintendo Switch, and as well as I do come across a Twitter post whereby a Japanese player actually emailed to Bushiroad to clarify this further. So actually the Susano actually twin drives to a double trigger here, and I do no guard. And most likely I'll be eating 2 damage here, but it's important because I will be needing the counter blast. Oh, I actually eat 3 damage there because he does open a crit. So apologies on that, but having more damage to work with is fine. But this should be my final turn, because being at 5 damage against OTT, you most likely die to the guard restrict. I'm not sure if you'll be seeing the guard restrict in these games, but I'll let you know when I do see them. So I do ride to the Yasuie VR once again, and I currently have 3 Excel circles. As you can see, I'll be calling the Awazu here, and then because I have 2 Great One Restoring Flower there, and 3 Counter Blast to work with, this is quite a deadly turn, as you'll be seeing how the Yasuie player is going to play this turn out. He does mute the Shirayuki there. So the Grade 2 Awazu does gain the name of Shirayuki, which allows me to actually superior call it by the Yasui skill, since you can actually target the drop zone to superior call. So I do play the Grade 2 common here to filter further into the deck. I believe I do not filter nicely. As you can see, I do mute the critical there, and I use a Great Searcher here, missing the search. The best search target I want to find is actually the Tenma here. So I have to use a Yasui VR skill here to clone the Shirayuki and most likely the Great One. So as you can see, I'm calling the Shirayuki here, which allows to actually minus 5k to the opponent Vanguard. So this is essentially a half a front trigger, a discounted front trigger I would say, but it's still very little against them, since all my cards would probably hit above damage trigger now. So I do Soul Blast 2, Soul Blasting the 1 knight, which is very important. I swing the Awazu first because I can superior call 2 times in this turn. So swing Vanguard. So actually that's a 1 pass here, but we both forgot that, but I don't think I actually do check any trigger here, so it's fine. Oh, okay, so we do take note. So that's guarding for no pass there. I do drop 2 cards to superior right to my Yasuie Tenma. Gaining another Excel Circle and drawing 1 more card. And I'll be using the 2 grade 1 Dabas I have on the field. Calling 1 Tenma, and most likely, oh actually I do call 2 Tenmas here, which is very sick if you ask me, because both Tenmas are hitting for 27k alone with the Excel marker, and then with Shirayuki effect is hitting for 32k like that. And even though he hit a damage trigger there, it's still asking for 15k shield. Seeing the Yasuie boosted, which is hitting for 25k like this, a 15k will be a no pass here, but it's still a precious shield. I check to a draw trigger here, which is very clutch in my opinion, because it's going to force more shields down. So I do pump to the 10k column guard here, so making it a 20k guard column, which will hit above damage trigger if he does open another one there. So I swing to the rear guard here, I believe, since he's not able to hit the damage trigger. Since, I mean, he actually activated a damage trigger there, so I can't hit over it. And given that he doesn't have any intercepts on the field, this is actually quite painful for him. For every 5k poke is still 1 hand. So he eats the 5th damage, doesn't hit a damage trigger there, using a Tenma skill to bottom deck the card. Another Tenma to attack. So he does gut everything eventually, but look at his hand, it's only a 1 hand size. Not sure how he's able to survive against my, or rather how he's gonna push for game here. But if he does have the guard restrict here, it will be game over. So he does using a top 2 to hit the grade 2 Ichi there, giving the Vanguard plus 10k. And as you can see, we actually do see the grade 2 guard restrict there. And what's his skill is that you need to have at least 5 hand size. And once you have 5 hand size, you can actually, when upon attack, you count +1. You check the top card of your deck, revealing it to the opponent. If it's revealed a normal unit, your opponent can only guard with the normal unit, and if it's a trigger unit, your opponent can only guard with the trigger unit. But he does need to hit the 5 hand size requirement, which currently he only have 2. So he had to open a draw trigger here to activate the effect, or not, it's not going to go off. So I do Kanzen in the middle here to ensure the guard. I do throw 2 PGs, try checks a critical here. He does need a draw trigger to end the game there. What is going to prompt the Promise Daughter? So Promise Daughter is hitting for 25k alone, which is a 15k guard. So both sides are hitting for 15ks, and I should be able to guard them quite easily. Now I'm just considering how do I guard this, because Rainy Madam is good for the So actually I do discard my whole hand there, not keeping the Rainy Madam, because I do value the grade 2 there instead, because the grade 2 does offer a 10k shield, and then the OTT does scoop. So now it's game 2, and we do see the OTT down go first, hitting the Great Researcher once again, riding the Great Researcher, and I do believe OTT does want to go second, because when they go second, their first right turn is actually very aggressive if they were to hit the Susanoo there. Sorry, Amaterasu. So I do hit I do go second here and write Griffith Sigil, and I do hit the Yasuie Tenma here. Yes, so I do get the Yasuie Tenma instead. Okay, so sorry. Actually, I go for the Yasuie VR here to ensure that I have a second right for my VR. Because I would like to point out that for Yasuie decks, they usually can't kill you on the first restand turn, but they will be on the wrong Vanguard, which is a Tenma. So they would usually want to have the second Yasuie VR on hand to go for the second restand turn. So I do draw the Critical Tripper there, keeping the Quick Shoe in hand. Not exactly sure why I did that though, but I believe it's maybe cloggy in my hand. Not very sure, but a Quick Shoe drop would have been better. So it does try check into a draw trigger there and swing Vanguard with the Ichi. Then I do 8 damage, 2 blanks, unfortunate, but it's my turn once again. I do right into the Great Tripper there, counter blasting 1, so blasting 1 to search my deck for the Great Tripper. So maybe, now I think about it, the reason why I don't drop the Quick Shield is so that I'm able to use it to guard against the guard restrict. So what's interesting about the Quick Shield is that it actually does not require you to call it to the Guardian Circle. It's actually like a quick effect or quick spell if you are any Igio players here, like a Mystic Space Tycoon. So actually you can just cast it to the drop zone, giving your Vanguard a 5k base instead of guarding for 5k guard. As you can see, I do swing the side to damage deny the Susano here because he does give me an opportunity to damage deny. And Susano does need Counter Blast to even do anything. And as you can see, he does miss the Great Tree here, so very unfortunate. And they will just laughter because it's such a hilarious game. So he does call the Grade 1 and Grade 2 there, revealing a top deck. Putting it to the bottom, then revealing a top deck and plus 10k to the center. I am able to guard it for one pass since I do know there's no damage trigger there. I mean, there's no drive check there. I got one pass, so no guards here. No guards to the rear guard, sorry. And then it's my turn once again. So effectively, this game is like me going first again since I'm going for the restand turn before his Susano right. How will the turn explode in my favor? I do call the Awazu there. Most likely going to mill the one night here. Yeah, and I did. I do call the Great One Restoring Flower here. I'll be using the skill to copy the Restoring Flower most likely and the one eye there. So I do call the one night here, and especially one night is actually very strong when you're going first because it's a 12k booster, and 12k boosting another 9k unit will hit above a 21k, which requires a 15k guard from the opponent already. So all these magic numbers do adds up, and it's very important to take note of that. So I do call the Great One there, and I do swing the Vanguard like this, which guards for 2 pass. I do get a critical trigger here, which will be pumping to the side. I do get a draw trigger here and I pump to the other side. So this game is really swung in my favor. And will be proceeding to drop 2 cards to right to the Tenma here. I do drop the Quick Shoe here, and then Superior Riding to the Tenma. It's getting another Excel Circle and drawing 1, and I'll be proccing one of the Great Ones here to call the one night from the drop zone, which was muted by the Awazu. You can see the 6 synergy here is split by Yasuie, and this is why the deck is actually quite strong. So I swing with the one night here to push him for more damage, but he does guard them, so I just swing with the Vanguard like this. But his hand doesn't look very healthy already. Oh yeah, he guards it with another card. Try checks into a blank. He hits the Susano here. I mean, no, sorry, Amaterasu here, which is very unfortunate. Not riding the Susano here after misgrading a turn is going to be very painful. He just does call me the draw trigger here. Most likely he's going to be on full tilt, so you're not sure how to win this game. So we do see him slaying Susano here, but will he be able to survive till next turn? Might be, because given the fact that he is currently only on 2 damage, but given the fact that there will be most likely 7 attacks in the next turn, not exactly fun for him. So sorry for here, we do realize I didn't draw the one right here. So I do draw one, which is nice enough from the ODD player to give me the chance to actually replay there. But since I haven't eaten any damage trigger yet, or rather any damage, so this misplay is fine. But I would like to apologize for it still. So he does open a crit and pump it to the draw trigger here. And he's most likely going to give damage to my Vanguard, but honestly speaking, you wouldn't want to eat damage here because you don't want to give the OTT player a window for them to kill with the garbage trick, which OTT does play. So I do allow myself to be damage denied, but because I know my Excel circles will be enough to push the game, don't have to go greedy for the flashy plays that Yasuie can do with the Counter Blast. So I do guard there. I draw for turn. I'll be riding to the Yasuie VR here, gaining another Excel circle, and drawing one. I do draw the Awazu there. I caught a Great Researcher here. And hit the one night here, which is why actually Great Researcher is so strong, and especially when they are introduced to Murakumo, because Murakumo has such a huge Great Tree range, and every one of them have their users, and if the Great Researcher is there, you can actually hope to get one of it through the top 5. Not guaranteed, but it's still a chance and improve the consistency of the deck. So I do call the Awazu there. Most likely going to mute the Shirayuki here, which I did. And so it does gain the name, but most likely I'll be calling the Rainy Maiden here to secure it back to hand. Swinging with the Rainy Maiden first, because if he does guard it for the next few attacks, I'm able to so charge in, and then putting a Shirayuki from the drop zone to my hand. I superior right to the Tenma here, drawing one more card. Vanguard swinging for one more attack. 15k will be a no pass, but it's still 15k committed. I hit a draw trigger here. I do power to the side, drawing one. Rainy Maiden never hits, so I can get to the Shirayuki back to my hand. And then he does scoop, and it's game over. Thank you for watching till the end, and do stay tuned for the final game which will be uploaded tomorrow. Thank you for all the support, and do subscribe for more content such as this, and do follow me on Twitter for daily retweets.